Up here.
So good to see you.
Good
We
to
give it
see
up to
you.
Nan for all she does. I mean, really, thank you for being awesome. I'll take this. I have a lot of energy. I like to walk around. Many of you know me. I'm Josh Harder. I'm running for Congress because we're going to flip this district blue and get some change. That's what we got to do. We have 47 days to get it across the finish line. Not a lot of time. Many of you know my story, but why don't I just chat a little bit about my background, why I'm running, and talk about one or two issues. How are we going to make sure that every person in this district has access to affordable health care? And how do we make sure that Social Security and Medicare are protected for the next generation? How do we make sure that these earned benefits are available to everyone? First, me. I'm a fifth-generation resident. My grandfather actually wasn't in the Modesto High class, unlike Frank's, but he came out on a wagon train in 1850. As you've heard me say, he comes 2,000 miles in search of gold, and then he stopped 50 miles short to become a peach farmer in Manteca. And I really think my story is that I got the best of the Central Valley. My dad runs Harder Optometry on Orangeburg between College and Tully, very cleverly named. Anybody get eyeglasses there? No? Good, that's why you can all see me. But I got the best of the Central Valley. My first job was a paper boy for the Turlock Journal in the Modesto Bee, went through the public school system, graduated from Modesto High, got a scholarship from the Modesto Rotary Club in the American Legion to go off to college. I know, best parts. But I'm running for Congress because most kids in the Central Valley, most folks in our community don't have access to the same opportunities that I did. We live in a community where 80% of our residents are on free or reduced lunch, 80% of the kids in our school districts, where we have an unemployment rate twice the national average, and where on every single issue that we care about, on healthcare, on immigration, on Social Security, on water, we have a political leadership that is moving us backwards instead of forwards. And just to talk real briefly about one or two of those. First and foremost, I'm running because I think everybody deserves access to affordable health care. We're a district where that is felt by so many. Nearly 50% of the residents of our community are on Medicaid, 50%. And that means that Jeff Denham's vote a year and a half ago, May 4th, 2017, that bill would have lost health care from 100,000 people in this district. 100,000 folks would have lost health care because of that vote. My younger brother David was one of those. He was born 10 weeks premature. He was less than 2 pounds when he was first born over at doctor's. And he spent the first 2 years of his life in and out of a hospital and came out for the last time with a health care bill 104 pages long. Luckily, we had the insurance to take care of it. Now he's healthy. He's our best canvasser, knocking on doors every day in Turlock, getting it across the finish line. But my brother would not have health care until he's 65 and on Medicare because of my congressman's vote. And that's why I'm running this race, because that is what is at stake. Every one of us has somebody in their life who would be hurt by our congressman's vote. And that's why we gotta vote. That's what we're doing. And it's not just that. We're seeing earned benefits, Social Security, and Medicare under threat like never before. We saw a bill last year. It was something of a mathematical miracle because it raised taxes in California. California's going to pay $12 billion more in taxes to Washington, and yet it added $2 trillion to the debt. It's almost amazing. And it did that because it gave away trillions of dollars of corporate giveaways, did nothing to actually help residents of this district. So not only do we pay more for it, we're actually going to get it cut on the other side because that $2 trillion, we know it's going to have to come from Medicare and Social Security. And there were a lot of Republicans in California who voted against it at the congressional level, folks who are certainly pretty conservative, but they voted because they knew that their state would be hurt. But Jeff Denham voted for it. He voted for it because he's voted with Trump 98% of the time in a district that voted for Hillary Clinton. That's what's at stake. If we want to make sure that these programs that are so important for every single one of us, not just for our seniors, but the future generations, we got to make sure that we have the political representatives that are going to stand up for us. Social Security doesn't have a demographic problem. It has a political problem. And the way that we make sure that we're keeping these projects maintained is if we have the political leadership who's going to stand up for us. And that's one of the reasons why I'm not taking a single dollar of corporate PAC money. Because we got to make sure that we have political leaders who are only responsible to one person, which is the actual human voter. And that's how we're running our campaign, and that's how I'm going to serve you when I'm in Congress. This is a race that has national eyes. Probably the most exciting thing that's happened in my entire life is when President Obama came on out to California a couple weeks ago, had us up on stage. That was pretty exciting. It was his first public campaign appearance since 2016. He could have gone anywhere in the country, but he came to California and he focused on these critical House races because this is where the battle is. We've got to make it happen. The other side's doing the same thing. Mike Pence has come out 3 times. Ivanka Trump is fundraising for Jeff Denham. That's their best and brightest. That's what they got. Personally, I take President Obama. But we know that this is going to count. So I'd ask 2 things of everybody in this room. 2 things. First and foremost, vote. I know you will. You got to make sure you do it. Ballots are out in 3 weeks. Everybody in this room's got to vote. But 2, it's not enough just for you to vote. We got to make sure that everybody you know understands what's at stake. If people go to the polls thinking about that person in their life with a pre-existing condition who would have lost their protections, if people are thinking about the dreamer, the immigrant in our community, if they're thinking about the earned benefits that they have, that they deserve, that are being under threat, we're going to win this election in a landslide if that's what people are thinking about when they go to the polls. And you all can help to make sure that this blue wave is a reality. It's not a weather event. It is something that happens by hard work and elbow grease. And I'm going to need every single one of you to get it across the finish line in another 6.5 weeks. And that's what we're going to do. Thank you.